And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army. For his camp is very great, for he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it?
You are people. How in the world is you sitting here complaining about being poor when we stole this land from the Native Americans? And when you see that movie, you go see that part, man.
They have to say that?
He straight up said that. He was like, look. He was like, look. Basically, he told him the same thing that we be telling you Edomites, man. That's out here talking about you poor too and all that. Well, damn, you a damn two-time loser, man.
That's right.
How the hell you poor in your own society, man?
That's right.
This is your country. This is your kingdom, man. How are you poor? That don't make no sense, man. You just pathetic, man. If this is your kingdom and you poor in your own kingdom, then that means you pathetic, man. And that's how you know the kingdom don't even belong to you, man. The Lord said this world was made for us, man. Cause you don't know what to do with it, man. If you poor in your own kingdom, then I mean you don't got no right to be controlling this world, man. The Edomite, he was like, yeah, y'all rich bastards, y'all go give us some of that money. He's like, wait a minute. We stole this land from the Native Americans, man. So how you gonna be mad at us? This our government. This your government. You trying to kill me? I'm your own people. We stole this land from the natives, man. Right? And I'm gonna read this quick precept on that too, man. We gonna go to the book of John, chapter 10 and verse 10. Right, John 10 and 10. It's another classic, quick little precept, man. Right, and this for you Northern Kingdom, man, because really, when you watch that movie, it was really a lot about the Northern Kingdom, right? The so-called Hispanic immigrants and the Native Americans, right? So this the book of John, chapter 10 and verse 10. It says, the thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. And the so-called white man said out his own mouth on that movie. Like I said, if you watch, he said, we stole this land from the Native Americans. Straight up said it. Brothers was in there watching like, wait a minute. Did he just say that?
Hey, and Shalaki too, and you know me, my grandfather, my father being, Native American.
Right.
They kind of sparked that little nerve with me.
Right, man. Came out straight up and said that. We couldn't believe it. We were like, dang, I didn't know Esau was that bold, man. He take you straight up in the movie like, you stole this land from the Native Americans, man. And that's how you know that's talking about the so-called white man. He the thief, man. He came to kill, steal, and destroy, man. Because every land that he go to, that's all that he do, man. Why the hell the so-called white man in South Africa? Poking his nose in all these places he don't even got no business being in, man. Stealing people resources, right? Taking their women, raping their women, kidnapping their children, right? Putting the men to death and taking their resources, man. Taking their land. Right? And the so-called white man here straight up and tell you that. You got something, King?
No, I was just gonna say, because who did they just go and kill? Was that the governor of the West Indies, wasn't it? Jamaica?
That was Haiti.
Haiti.
Yeah.
Went over there just because they didn't want to take the jab.
Right, the president of Haiti, man.
But what country's in charge of the jab? Like,
right.
America.
Edomite country.
Right. America's the one pushing it hard. All the major drug companies are here.
Right.
Another tribal nation.
Right, man.
Got a precept for that.
God.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 42 and verse 22. And it reads, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. Right? They are all of them snared in holes.
Right?
And they are hid in prison houses.
They are what?
They are hid in prison houses.
Right, and you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you hid in prison houses, man.
They are for a prey, and none delivered, for a spoil, and none said restore.
Right. Right. So that's our people, man. You hid in prison houses, man. You so-called blacks and Hispanics. And you can look up the statistics, right? The majority of the people that's in these prisons in America is you so-called blacks and Hispanics, man. Don't you see the system of the so-called white man? I stole this land from you unjustly, but I'm putting you in prison. I'm the one that committed the crime, but I'm gonna put you in prison. Now your forefathers was the one that was in this land first, and now you up under the damn ground, man, in the damn dark hole, getting one little piece of bread every day, man. And most of the people that's in prison, they in there unjustly, man. Esau, you got a little nick of weed on you. Esau throw you in jail for the rest of your life. 20 years later, weed is illegal. I mean, is legal in all 50 states. But you still in prison, man. He ain't free you, right? You still in prison for that little nickel bag, right? And that's the damn devil, man. He came to kill, steal, and destroy, man. And that's all that he's been doing to our people. So you so-called Hispanics and you Native Americans, y'all gotta wake up, man. Right? That was John 10 and 10. Right? And then, you know, basically to the next part of the movie, right, it was they went through that little phase when the dude, he was like, yeah, we stole this land or whatever. You know, and the other Edomite, he killed them. And then, hey, this was the crazy part, man. This is the part that kind of pissed me off, man. The Issachar jumped in and he saved Esau and his family.
God,
and,
so good.
Hey, and they ain't even like Issachar, man. Cause the old Edomite, his son, he was the one that inherited the land, and then you could tell his son at the beginning of the movie. It showed you, he was racist toward so-called Mexicans. If I was Issachar, man, I would have sat there and, chill, like, yeah, let Esau kill each other. Let Esau kill themselves, man. But you got, Captain Sabercracker, man. Right? You got Mexico, they always give us these bad looks on these movies, man. Always want to jump in and save your enemy, save your master. Issachar came in, kind of helped Esau out. One of the Issacharites, he was kind of flirting with Esau's sister, trying to mess with that snow bunny, right? So they kind of came in, they helped Esau, and then they went for the escape, right? And the main character was Issachar. But at the time he was separated from his wife, so his wife was out there in all chaos, all hell was breaking loose. They was trying to find each other, and they finally caught up with each other. And, they went through the was going through the purge or whatever. Towards the middle of the movie, right? Like I was saying, it was the forever purge. So Esau, he was going around. He was still purging even though the time was up. So the U.S., they had to send all the the military in to kind of slow it down. And then Canada and Mexico, they was like, look, if y'all want to get out of America and you want to escape, we gonna leave our borders open for a certain period of time. If you pass by, you can stay here. And on their way to Mexico, they kind of got jammed up into this. It was this group of Edomites, and it was the so-called Mexicans, right? And this the precept that popped up in my mind when that situation happened, right? For the ones that say you so-called Hispanics, not Israelites, right? So Deuteronomy 28, and I believe I want 40. Deuteronomy 28 and 37. Kanye 28 and 37. Right? You can read that if you want, King.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment,
right?
A proverb,
right?
And a byword.
And a what?
And a byword.
Right, and a byword is, man-made terms that's outside of your God-given nationality. right? And that's how you know they're talking about you so-called Negroes and Hispanics, right? Because we're not the only ones that, you know, all these nations make names of, which is bywords. You know, Southern Kingdom, they say, oh, you a nigger, you a nigger, you know what I'm saying? You got nappy hair, you a colored man, you a black man, you a Afro-American, you a African-American. They got all these bywords. Even for you so-called Hispanics. They got, you know, you a spick, you a wetback. And they're the two main ones I always hear too. I hear spick and wetback, but when at this part of the movie, they said something I didn't even know about. So the so-called Mexicans, they was trying to escape and go back to Mexico where it was safe at. And they was trying to help them Edomites that they saved, right? And there was a group of Edomites that jammed them up and they set a trap for them. And they was like, you know, Esau, he was looking like at the Edomites. He was like, "What y'all doing hanging with these brownies?" I said, "What?" Hey, and it was a lot of Issacharites in the movies with us that night, right? You heard everybody else like, "Wait a minute."
Yep.
I said, "Dang, brownies, that's a new one. I ain't heard that one before. I heard a spick, I heard a wetback, but I ain't never heard brownies." Hey, some people said, you know, they heard that before, but I ain't hear that. That was my first time hearing that. I was like, dang, that then added another one on to the list. You a spick, you a wetback, and now you a brownie. But you want
they call them
right,
darkies,
darkies.
Darkies and brownies.
And so you want to be in love with the so-called white man. But he got all these bywords and he always talking behind your back. Like we was bringing out earlier, you the ones that work the hardest, put in the most work, right? And you do jobs that nobody else would even think of doing, and they still want to talk behind your back. Or you a wetback, you a brownie. Man, they come up with anything, man. That's how you know this talking about the so-called blacks and Hispanics. They got bywords for you too, Migo. Right? They put you in prison cells too, Migo. Right?
Like and then the argument you get a lot about the Hispanic northern brothers and sisters, like, oh, they got coarse hair, and you know, and they're lighter than, you know, the Jacob, the so-called black man, why they not dark. But you have to realize over time, just like I was telling the brother, you have like brother like Flavor Flav, right, and then you got brother like Kid, you know, light skin complexion, right? So, but both of those could be, you know, Judites or Gadites. See what I'm saying? So, with the Northern Kingdom, you're gonna have lighter Northern Kingdom brothers and sisters, such as Hispanics and Puerto Ricans and things of that nature, and you're gonna have darker, because not all Hispanics are Israelites, just like not all so-called the Southern Kingdom so-called blacks are Israelites. Like if you take, what's the sister prime example, Tracy Ellis Ross, right, from Blackish, right, she's a so-called Edomite. Right. Bob Marley, right, Bob Marley is an Edomite.
Say that too, kind of right.
So some of these Hispanic brothers and sisters, they are from the Spaniard descent, right, and no, they're not Israelites, right, but you can't tell. But most of them are, because of the generation of those those Spaniards sleeping with our Northern Kingdom sisters. And over time, it become lighter in complexion.
Right.
But you are who your father is, according to the scriptures.
Right. Kind of like the brother was bringing up. Like, if you want to say all the tribes is Negroes, well, technically you're right, because back in the 90s, before the so-called blacks was given the term Negro, they was calling it. Around that same time, they was calling so-called Native Americans and Hispanics Negro too. You was also involved in that category.
That's right.
Right? You was also involved in that category. You was a Negro to them too, to the so-called white man. If you was a Hispanic or Native American, you were classified as a Negro. Right? So why is that? Because we the Israelites, man. We the same people. You got so-called Afro-Latinos with so-called Latinos look like me, got a little fro like me, look just like me. And like the brothers bringing out, some of them don't look like that. But that don't mean they're not Israel, right? That's the Lord said. Ephraim mixed himself among the people.
Like a cake on time.
He even said the whole nation Israel is like a speckled bird. So you got light skinned, you got brothers like no, Blake Griffin, he got children, right?
Gone.
They so-called Haitians. They would be Levites, right?
That's right.
That look like so-called white men.
That's right.
Drake is a Judite, and he light skinned.
That's right.
And his son even lighter than him.
Mm-hmm.
And he would be from the tribe of Judah.
And his mother is Jewish.
Right.
Drake's mother is Jewish.
Right.
His father is, black man from Tennessee.
And I believe his baby mother is a so-called, I don't know what nation she is, but I know she's not Israel though.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's a so-called white woman too.
Gone.
Right. So it don't we don't just go based off skin color, but
That's right.
you know what I'm saying. But you gotta try the spirit. That don't just mean a full-blown Edomite, Proud Boy. You know what I'm saying. You gotta read people's spirit, because a lot of most of them is Esau, right? But the so-called Hispanics though, you got different types. You got light skin, dark skin, brown skin. Just because you see a light skinned Hispanic, that don't mean they're not, Israel.
So like, and they claim the so-called black side.
Right.
A lot of these people who have mixed parents, like I know a female, she's her father's Asian, like Asian man from the nation of Moab, and her mother's a darker lady. She came out with this, this light skin, and and I asked her what her nationality was. She said so-called black, she's a black one. Right. But my father is Asian, so she don't know what's going on.
Right.
Like I told her, well, unfortunately, I said, unfortunately, you owe your father is pursuant to Numbers, the first chapter, 18 verse, and you owe your father is according to the Bible, so you would be from the nation of Moab. Right. She didn't know what's going on, so she said, okay, just nonchalantly, but she's not gonna make it.
Right.
Yeah, she's not gonna make it. Thus said the Lord.
Right. And sometimes you can't. That's why you can't go solely based off what they look like. Cause
that's right.
Like like the brother was saying, in the numbers it tell you the seed of your fathers. So you most of these so-called like these light-skinned Hispanics, you say, oh, that's not Israel, man, that's a Spaniard. But you look at, they show you pictures of their father and their grandfather, they be my color.
Gone.
So you can't just go solely based off the skin color, man. But like, back to the proverb and the byword in Deuteronomy, that's how you know these curses fit the so-called Hispanics too. Because they kind of got jammed up at that point. They was like, man, what y'all doing hanging with these brownies, man? Right? Ain't you supposed to be on our side? And that's how the so-called white man really think, man. The white man that's in his right state of mind, that let you know that he a full-blown racist like Donald Trump, and you other Edomites that want to play and act like you love blacks and Hispanics, they looking at y'all like y'all crazy. They're like, look, stop playing with these niggas, man. We hate them. Stop trying to act like you love them. That's how we feel. Look, stop trying to act like you love us, man. I got more respect for Edomites like Donald Trump than tell me full-blown, I don't like you niggas, or you spits. Right? Stop trying to play and, pretend like you my friend, man. They're looking at them like, what you doing hanging with them? You supposed to be killing them. And they gave them a chance, so they were like, look, y'all got a chance to redeem yourselves, man. We trying to purify the nation. Right? We trying to get all these spicks out of here, man. All these brownies. The Edomite, he kind of passed the other Edomite the gun. He was like, look, you got a chance to redeem yourself. Kill this brownie, man. He was like, just blow his brains out, man. And that's a proverb in the byword, man. And, kind of moving on to the next part of the movie, right? After they got jammed up out of that situation, the Edomite and the main character, the Issachar brother, they kind of had some tension going on since the beginning of the movie. But they was on the road together, escaping to Mexico, and they had this little part where they was talking to each other, man. And this sparked another precept in my mind. So we gonna go to Isaiah 13 and 14. Hey, and this another part that kind of took us off guard too, man. Hey, a lot of parts in that movie, if you're a brother, you in the truth, when you watch that movie, hey, your first time seeing it, man, it might catch you off guard. You be like, dang, I didn't know they'd come out and say this. You know, like you wouldn't believe it, man. But Isaiah 13 to 14. You want to read that, King?
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and verse 14. And it shall be as the chased roe,
Right.
and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people.
Wait, they shall do what?
Turn to his own people.
So the Lord said in these last days, you got to return to your own people. So people say, oh, everybody should just be together. No, the Lord is about division.
That's right.
That's why in Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, he said he divided to the nations. We supposed to be a holy people. We was never supposed to be the same, man. The Lord got all these nations of people to be with their own people, and he gave them their own land. And in the same part of the movie, the so-called Mexican, right? He knew that, you know, he felt some tension between him and the Edomite, right? So it was a little scene when they was talking to each other, you know, in the car. He was like, look, man, it's a car, brother. He was like, look, tell me straight up. He was like, look, let's cut all the crap. He was like, do you hate Mexicans? I feel like you hate me. Do you hate Mexicans? Hey, the Edomite, hey, this kind of, you know, made me, you know, jump out my seat a little bit. And all the other brothers too. The Edomite, he trying to say, like, you know, I wouldn't really say I hate Mexicans, but I just believe that everybody should just stick to their own people. He said that. And everybody, hey, I was like, dang, like, they really said that? And this precept popped in my mind as soon as he said, I'm like, dang, man, this straight out the Bible. And you start to see these messages in these movies, man. The Edomite said that. You remember that part too?
Yeah,
he was
like, that. I was like, wow.
He was like, yeah, he was like, I just believe that everybody should just, you know, stick to their own people. We shouldn't have all these people mixing together. I was like, dang, that's Isaiah 13 and 14. Hey, we gotta read that again, man.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and verse 14.
Right.
And it shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up.
Right.
They shall every man turn to his own people.
Right, and let's talk about these race wars again. You gonna have nations rising up against nations. You gotta be with your own people in these last days. And we talking to our people, you so-called blacks and Hispanics. Stop trying to, you know, be friends with all these other nations, man. Like the brother brought out, they can't make it. You got a chance to make it, man. You got to come back with your brothers, man, and be for your own people. And stop trying to love everybody else, man.
Salaki, because when it said the chase road and as a sheep, because you ever been driving down the road, you see a pack of deers. Right? You're not gonna see a deer than a damn wolf.
Right.
Right? Or you're not gonna see sheep, and then a damn llama or a damn elephant. No, all of them gonna be with each other. They're gonna be with their people, you know, or their animal kingdom. So the Lord is telling us we're gonna have to be with our people in these last days.
Right. And that's crazy because we're supposed to be the most intelligent species on the planet. The Lord created man to have dominion over everything on the earth, man. So even when you look at the birds, right? It's a lot of different birds. But you don't see birds chilling with other different type of birds. You're not gonna be seeing that damn eagle flying with a falcon.
That's right.
And a damn raven chilling with a pigeon.
The crow with the seagull.
Right, a damn blue jay with a damn red robin. So why the hell are you an Israelite and you trying to hang with the Edomites, the Ishmaelites, the Elamites? That don't make sense, man. Even when it comes to the simple things like, you know, the birds and the cattle, the Lord put it in their spirit to be with their own kind.
That's right.
You got cattle, but you got different kind of cattle, and they all stick with each other. You got, you know, birds, but you got different kind of birds, and they all stick with each other. You got people, but you got all different type of people, and we got to stick with each other, man. Right? So you can keep reading on, King.
And flee everyone into his own land.
Right.
Everyone that is found shall be thrust through,
right?
And everyone that is joined unto them.
Everyone that is what?
Joined unto them.
Like our people be trying to join into these heathens, man. Especially so-called Northern Kingdom. Like I said, it's like they brainwashed the most, man. All our people brainwashed, but it seemed like the Northern Kingdom just like, you know, it take a little bit more effort to try to wake them brothers up, man. Because we understand that the Lord, he said he gonna say the tents of Judah first, because, you know, the heads of the nation, you know, the kings and the priests, the Judah, Benjamin, Levi, we understand the Most High gotta wake us up first, but, you know, it's time for the Northern Kingdom to wake up and come back home, man. And that's what I really liked about this movie. It was more about the Northern Kingdom. And it showed you the racism that the so-called white men show towards you so-called Hispanics and Native Americans. Right?
And then, like, you know, to add on to that piggyback, one thing that I really loved about it is that part where when they were on their way going back towards Mexico, like you was just saying, how the northern kingdoms did join together. They showed that unity. Right. You know what I'm saying? And with the so-called Native Americans and the so-called Mexicans. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, we're going to get to that part too next. Right?
He says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through. Right. And everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
Shall what?
Shall fall by the sword.
And that's it on that. So the Lord said, if you found with them, you're going to be thrust through. That means He's going to put you to death, man. And that go right along with Proverbs 11 and 21. He said, look, you could join hand in hand, but the wicked, they're not going to go unpunished, man. The Lord not go, you know, forgive the so-called white man for all the rape, rob, and murder and all the atrocities that he put upon his chosen people, man. So you need to stop being hand in hand with him, man. Because the Lord, he got enemies. Hey, the same way that Jake is in the world, he like, hey, man, I got ops. I got ops out here. And if I get whoever with him, when I slide on them, they go get it too. Hey, the Lord said, you know, the same Edomites, the Romans that put him to death, if he come back and you holding hand in hand with him, he gonna put you to death too. Right? So stop trying to be friends with your enemies, man.
That's right.
And come back to serving your God, man.
That's right. And
then the next part, you know, after that part, you know, the Edomites that, you know, that jammed them up and they escaped them the first time, but they kind of came back because, you know, one of the Hispanics, they had killed the Edomite mom. He was trying to avenge his mom. He was like, man, I gotta get them brownies, man. You know, you kind of, you know, follow them all the way to Mexico. You know, they try to, you know, ambush them. And then that's the part, you know, Northern Kingdom was in the theaters going crazy, man. You had Gad, you had Issachar. Issachar was out there like Rambo. You know, Issachar was out there with the ARs and the AKs. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that was my favorite part of the movie, man. Seeing the so-called, you know, Hispanics and Native Americans killing Esau. Hey, I could watch that all day. Issachar out there, you know, he was kind of shooting Esau in the chest, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we the real warriors, man. Right. We do things better than, you know, everybody, man. Issachar out there, you know, Esau thought he snuck up on him. Esau, you know, Issachar came out, boom, boom, boom. Gad was out there with the bow and arrows. They kind of had the little, like, you know, on the tip they had some kind of like the bombs on the tip. You know, Gad was out there, shoo, shoo, kind of blowing Esau up with the bow and arrows. And that was entertainment, man. You know, Esau, he kind of kidnapped Issachar women. You know, he kind of snatched his sister up, you know. She kind of escaped. You know, Issachar kind of knocked him down. He was like, you know, tell him to come out so we can kill him, man. Tell him to come out. You know, the sister, she was speaking in Spanish. He was like, no, speak English. Speak English. You know what I'm saying? You know, they kind of knocked him down. Issachar came up, you know, he was like, hey, will this translate? And that was my favorite part. Kind of, boom, you know, blew Esau's brains out, man. All praises.
All praise.
We was up in the theaters. Kwam Yashawan. Kwam Yashawan. You know what I'm saying? Hey, death to America. All up in the theaters, man. Esau, you know, he's sitting in the front row. He kind of, he looking there. He's like, what the hell? Hey, some group of Negroes up there. They're like, what is Kwam Yashawan mean? What does that mean? I know they typing up on their phones. They kind of looking. They like, hey, what does that mean? Hispanic death to America? What's going on up there? And I thought we was gonna get kicked out.
God.
I thought we was gonna get kicked out, man. But you know, that was basically it on the you know, the Purge movie. You know, it was about, you know, basically just the Hispanic immigrants that came to Texas, and they was working for this Edomite and his family. You know, the Purge was going on. You know, some of the Edomite got put to death and some of his family died, but you know, Issachar kind of saved them. And, you know, they kind of went to Mexico, escaped to Mexico, and on the way there they kind of got jammed up. But you know, all throughout the movie you see little, you know, like I said, little parts where they was telling the truth, man. And a lot of precepts popped up in my mind while we was watching the movie, man. I was like, damn, you know, we got to do a breakdown on this, man. It's powerful. And if, you know, all the brothers and sisters, if you haven't seen that movie, man, you gotta see that movie, man.
Hey, I got a precept too for that last part too.
That is what?
Join unto them.
Like, our people be trying to join into these heathens, man. Especially so-called Northern Kingdom. Like I said, it's like they brainwashed the most, man. All our people brainwashed, but it seemed like the Northern Kingdom just like, you know, it take a little bit more effort to try to wake them brothers up, man. Because we understand that the Lord, he said he gonna say the tents of Judah first, because, you know, the heads of the nation, you know, the kings and the priests, the Judah, Benjamin, Levi, we understand the Most High gotta wake us up first, but, you know, it's time for the Northern Kingdom to wake up and come back home, man. And that's what I really liked about this movie. It was more about the Northern Kingdom. And it showed you the racism that the so-called white men show towards you so-called Hispanics and Native Americans. Right?
And then, like, you know, to add on to that piggyback, one thing that I really loved about it is that part where when they were on their way going back towards Mexico, like you was just saying, how the northern kingdoms did join together. They showed that unity. Right. You know what I'm saying? And with the so-called Native Americans and the so-called Mexicans. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, we're going to get to that part too next. Right?
He says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through. Right. And everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
Shall what?
Shall fall by the sword.
And that's it on that. So the Lord said, if you found with them, you're going to be thrust through. That means He's going to put you to death, man. And that go right along with Proverbs 11 and 21. He said, look, you could join hand in hand, but the wicked, they're not going to go unpunished, man. The Lord not go, you know, forgive the so-called white man for all the rape, rob, and murder and all the atrocities that he put upon his chosen people, man. So you need to stop being hand in hand with him, man. Because the Lord, He got enemies. And the same way that Jake is in the world, he like, hey, man, I got ops. I got ops out here. And if I get whoever with him, when I slide on them, they go get it too. And the Lord said, you know, the same Edomites, the Romans that put him to death, if he come back and you holding hand in hand with him, he gonna put you to death too. Right? So stop trying to be friends with your enemies, man.
That's right.
And come back to serving your God, man.
That's right.
And then the next part, you know, after that part, you know, the Edomites that, you know, that jammed them up and they escaped them the first time, but they kind of came back because, you know, one of the Hispanics, they had killed the Edomite mom. He was trying to avenge his mom. He was like, man, I gotta get them brownies, man. You know, you kind of, you know, follow them all the way to Mexico. You know, they try to, you know, ambush them. And then that's the part, you know, Northern Kingdom was in the theaters going crazy, man. You had Gad, you had Issachar. Issachar was out there like Rambo. You know, you had, you know, Issachar was out there with the ARs and the AKs. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that was my favorite part of the movie, man. Seeing the so-called, you know, Hispanics and Native Americans killing Esau. Hey, I could watch that all day. Issachar out there, you know, he was kind of shooting Esau in the chest, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we the real warriors, man. Right. We do things better than, you know, everybody, man. Issachar out there, you know, Esau thought he snuck up on him. Esau, you know, Issachar came out, boom, boom, boom. Gad was out there with the bow and arrows. They kind of had the little, like, you know, on the tip they had some kind of like the bombs on the tip. You know, Gad was out there, shoo, shoo, kind of blowing Esau up with the bow and arrows. Hey, that was entertainment, man. You know, Esau, he kind of kidnapped Issachar women. You know, he kind of snatched his sister up, you know. She kind of escaped.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Issachar kind of knocked him down. He was like, you know, tell him to come out so we can kill him, man. Tell him to come out. You know, the sister, she was speaking in Spanish. He was like, no, speak English. Speak English. You know what I'm saying? You know, they kind of knocked him down. Issachar came up, you know, he was like, hey, will this translate? And that was my favorite part. Kind of, boom, you know, blew Esau's brains out, man. All praises.
All praise.
We was up in the theaters. Kwam Yashawan. You know what I'm saying? Hey, death to America. All up in the theaters, man. Esau, you know, he's sitting in the front row. He kind of, he looking there. He's like, what the hell? Hey, some group of Negroes up there. They're like, what is Kwam Yashawan mean? What does that mean? I know that they typing up on their phones. They kind of looking. They like, hey, what does that mean? What, hey, death to America? What's going on up there? And I thought we was gonna get kicked out. I thought we was gonna get kicked out, man. But you know, that was basically it on the you know, the Purge movie. You know, it was about, you know, basically just the Hispanic immigrants that came to Texas, and they was working for this Edomite and his family. You know, the Purge was going on. You know, some of the Edomite got put to death, and some of his family died. But you know, Issachar kind of saved them. And, you know, they kind of went to Mexico, escaped to Mexico, and on the way there they kind of got jammed up. But you know, all throughout the movie you see little, you know, like I said, little parts where they was telling the truth, man. And a lot of precepts popped up in my mind while we was watching the movie, man. I was like, damn, you know, we got to do a breakdown on this, man. It's powerful. And if, you know, all the brothers and sisters, if you haven't seen that movie, man, you got to see that movie, man.
Hey, I got a precept too for that last part too, because this just, you know, once I put this in my head, man, when they had escape after that last part you said, it's just a classic, man. Isaiah, the book Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of that movie, what you was just saying, after, you know, the so-called Hispanic brother had asked the so-called white man, like, do you hate Mexicans? Right?
Right.
But then throughout the whole way, though, you know what I'm saying, he did cleave into the Issacharite, right?
Right.
So the book of Isaiah chapter 14 verse 1, for the Lord shall have mercy on Jacob.
Right.
And will yet choose Israel.
And will yet do what?
Yet choose Israel.
So I hope our brothers out here listening to this, man. That's why we be out here trying to wake up our brothers, especially the northern kingdom. Because at the end of the day, the Lord said he gonna choose Israel. He gonna have mercy on Jacob, man. He ain't gonna have mercy on Esau. The book of Obadiah tell you that the Lord gonna destroy every single last Edomite. He said he gonna wipe them off the face of the earth, man. And there shall be no remainder of the house of Esau. So the Lord ain't gonna have mercy on the so-called white man. Right? The Lord gonna have mercy on our people, but only if you come back and keep his commandments. Right?
And set them in their own land.
Right?
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
And the strangers talking about all you other nations. Right? So-called white people, the East Indians, the, you know, the Arabs, the Chinese, Japanese, right? The Japhites, all the other nations, right?
They shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Right?
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
Right?
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
For what?
For servants and handmaids.
And that's a beautiful day, man. That's the day all the brothers, especially these brothers right here, and all the other brothers that go out, you know, week in and week out and wake our people up. That's what we're waiting for, man. I don't care about having $1 million and being rich in America, man. America finna be destroyed.
That's right.
Every time I go outside and it's everyday America, all I see is sin and wickedness, man. All I see is things that kind of, you know, turn my stomach upside down, man. You see homosexuals, everything got pork in it, right? You can't even take a breath of fresh air because they putting all this dang chemtrails and pollution in the air, man. It don't matter how much money I got, I can never be comfortable in this hellhole, man. So this the day that we waiting for, man. So you Jakes out there, what you gonna do, man? You so-called Hispanics out there, you Northern Kingdom, what y'all gonna do, man? You gonna keep loving El Blanco? You gonna keep going on with the ways of this world, or you gonna come back to your God, man, and get the kingdom, man.
Right.
And rule over all the people that oppressed your people, man. Right.
For servants and handmaids.
Right.
And they shall take them captives.
And we shall do what?
And they shall take them captives.
Right.
Whose captives they were.
Right.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
And we shall do what?
Shall rule over their oppressors.
Right. So all you so-called Hispanics, right, and all you so-called Negroes that got a problem when we bring these precepts out, right, and tell you that we go rule over the same people that ruled over us.
Right.
If you got a problem with that, then you got a problem with the Lord, man. The Lord said a false balance is an abomination. That will be a false balance for the Lord to allow all these other nations to put you in hardcore bondage, but you're not allowed to put them in hardcore bondage. That's a false balance. How we his chosen people, and he allowed all these other nations to kill and oppress us, right? But we can't kill and oppress them. We can't have them in captivity. That's an unjust balance. You know, we gotta even this thing out. The Lord is a just God, right?
Right. Right. Got a precept for that.
Come.
It's the book of Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse 25.
Ezekiel
28 and verse 25. And it reads, Thus said the Lord Yahawah, when I shall have gathered the house of Israel from the people among whom they are scattered, and shall be sanctified, and shall be sanctified in them, right, in the spirit of the heathens, in the sight of the heathens, then shall they dwell in their land that I have given to my servant Jacob. And read that again. Ezekiel 28 verse 25. Thus said the Lord Yahawah, when I shall have gathered the house of Israel from the people among whom they are scattered, and shall be sanctified in them in the sight of the heathens, then shall they dwell in the land, in their land that I have given to my servant Jacob.
Praises, man. See, the Lord, he got, when you read Romans 9:1, everything in this Bible from front to back pertains to the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All the covenants, the glory, the giving of the law, right? The judgments, right? And that's when we go out there to try to tell our brothers, man, because they don't know what they missing out on, right? So we're going to get a couple more. I'm going to get a couple more and close up, unless y'all brother got any precepts. So I'm going to go to Revelation 21 and 12. Right, because this main thing, you know, is about, you know, the northern kingdom, right? Because as we begin to get closer and closer to the end, right, you know, you got to wake up the 12 tribes, man. It ain't all about the southern kingdom, right? Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? We still got 10. Look, we only got 3 tribes. We got 9 other tribes that need to wake up, man. The Lord said he need 12,000 from each tribe. So how we gonna get these 12,000 brothers if we ain't out here, you know, giving our best effort to try to wake up the northern kingdom? They don't know how much, y'all don't know how much y'all mean, man. We need the so-called Hispanics, the Central South Americans, the so-called Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. We need y'all to wake up, man. Cause without y'all, we can't do this thing, man. So we got, you know, Lord willing, these brothers start to wake up, man. So you can read that, brother.
Come from the book of Revelation, chapter 21 and verse 12.
Right.
And had a wall great and high.
Right, and it's talking about the kingdom of heaven, right? And we, you know, we try to bring this out to our brothers this past weekend, right? You know, some Hispanic brothers, I was trying to break this down to them. Because they, you know, they keep trying to save El Blanco. You know, God love everybody. Everybody can make it. I'm like, brother, let's see what, you know, what the Lord says. Let's see if everybody can make it to the kingdom of heaven. Right?
And had a wall great and high.
Right?
And had 12 gates.
It had what?
It had 12 gates.
Right? In the Christian church and in the Catholic church, most of y'all Hispanics, so-called Catholics, right? And they tell you that it's big old, it's one big old gate to the kingdom of heaven. And every single, all the 18 nations that the Lord created go through that gate. It don't matter if you was a murderer, it don't matter if you was a rapist, a pedophile, you know, everybody, we just gonna make it in. But let's see what the Bible says.
And at the gates 12 angels.
Right? So you got 12 gates, and then you got 12 bodyguards at each of these gates, right? Just like when you go to the club, man. You got the big bodyguard, he you know, he in front of the door. He like, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? He checking, you know, make sure who can get in and who can't get in. Right?
And names written thereon.
Right? And so at all these 12 gates, you got a certain name on each one of these gates. Right? And just like at the club, you know, you go, you know, pull out the list and see if your name on that list. Hey, and if your name not on that list, and you try to come in, and you kind of go snatch you up, you know, throw you out. Right?
Which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
Are the names of who?
Of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
Right, so the Lord said all these 12 gates is for the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Right. It ain't gonna be no gate that says Edom on it. Ishmael, Elam, Moab. No, it's gonna say Judah, Benjamin, Levi, right. Issachar, Ephraim, right? Manasseh, Simeon, right? So you so-called Northern Kingdom, right? You Northern Kingdom, you so-called Hispanics gotta stop giving your blessings, right? Trying to give your salvation to all these other nations. Cause their name's not written on these gates. Your name is. Right? And this precept popped up in my head because, you know, Sunday when we was out at the mall doing the flyer mission, and you know, some of the brothers, the Hispanic brothers I was talking to, they was, you know, they kind of got it a little bit, but you know, they kind of, you know, still wanted to continue on with their own thing. But it was this one brother I was talking to. He said he was from, I believe he said he was Guatemalan, and he was indigenous, you know. And I was breaking it down to him, telling him the history about, you know, the indigenous Guatemalans, you know. And I gave the brother a flyer, and the brother, man, he was like, you know, man, this, I'm interested, you know, I should check, I'm gonna check it out. He looked on the flyer, the brother said, hey, that's me right there, that's my name right there. And I looked, I said, you know, where you at? He said, Zebulon, that's me, I'm Zebulon. I said, damn, I said, all praise, that's the spirit.
That's right.
You know, I said, hey, brother, hey, don't you know you got a gate in the kingdom of heaven?
That's right.
All the 12 tribes got a gate. The Lord said he got a gate with your name on it, brother. And if you repent and come back, you can make it into the kingdom. Right? While all the other Hispanic brother, you know, he was trying to say Esau. I'm like, man, that brother ain't gonna make it.
That's right.
Well, you brother, you might got a chance, man. Yeah. You ain't asked me, oh, what about the white man? The brother said, hey, that's me right there. Kind of, he pointed himself out. He was like, hey, I'm Zebulon. I said, all praise, that's a spirit.
That's right.
Right? Right? So we go kind of, I'm going to get this last one. I'm going to get Matthew 4:17, and that's going to be my last one. And like I said, we can close up unless brothers got another precept.
This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 4, verse 17.
Right.
From that time, YAHAWAH'S began to preach and to say, repent.
What?
Repent.
Right, so you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you got to repent in these last days, man. Right? You got to wake up to your true nationality, and you got to come back, because like we've been bringing out the whole class, the Lord said it's only death and destruction coming your way, man. All these movies, so-called Purge, that's going to be real life, man.
That's right.
You got the so-called Proud Boys out here. You got all these other kingdoms flexing their muscles, telling you all the type of weaponry that they got. Right? All hell finna break loose, man. You got to come back home, man. Right?
Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
Right? And the kingdom of heaven is at hand for you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Right? Like we read in Matthew, this is the beginning of the end. We in the last days, man. Right? So you brothers got to come back home and return to your power, whose name is Yahawah. And it's some of his, in the name of his son, YAHAWAH'S, man. But you know, that's really it for the lesson, though, man.
I got one more precept.
Oh, the brother got another precept. All praises.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 11.
Oh, that's a classic too.
It's a classic. Romans 13 and verse 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed.
Right.
The night is far spent. The day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light.
Praises, man. So we gotta put on the armor of light, man. You know, and according to Proverbs 6 and 23, that light, the Lord's law, statutes, and commandments, man. So you brothers, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, natives, come back to the Lord in these last days, right? And again, this brother Yashawan by YAHAWAH, the YAHAWAH'S camp, right?
From the Yahweh Ban Yahuda, with soldiers of Yahweh.
Right.
Ariyah Ban God from soldiers of Yahweh.
Right, and again, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, by Hashem, YAHAWAH'S. All praises, man. Shalom, Kwam Yashawan.
Kwam Yashawan.